はい、ありがとうございます。ありがとうございます。はい、今日はね、お集まりいただきましてありがとうございます。今日これから行うのは、パーソナルステートメントの書き方のワークショップということで、NIC のファンデーションのディレクター、先生でもあるね、マイケル先生においでいただいています。よく話を聞いて、特に NIC でファンデーションを受ける予定の学生さんに関しては、パーソナルステートメントを年内中に仕上げちゃなきゃいけない。その際の秘訣だとか気をつけなきゃいけないことなど全部、網羅されますので、よく話を聞いていただければと思います。よろしいでしょうか。Then, Michael. Hi.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Could you? I would like to pass on you.
Absolutely. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're all very, very well. Okay, so today we're looking at writing your best personal statement and trying to avoid other things, trying to avoid mistakes, really. So, what are the contents for today? Well, for today's session, we'll be taking an overview, and we'll be thinking about you as students. We'll be thinking about your urge, your need to become different, to be different. I'll be giving you some tips and advice on how to do this. We'll also be thinking about some exercises that you can do to help you avoid making mistakes and writing a very good personal statement. And also we'll talk about the support that NIC can give. The really important thing to remember, though, is that this advice is for a university application in the UK, and that's really important. And if you join the foundation course, you will receive all of the support that you need to make a perfect or extremely good application. Okay, so that's an outline of what we're doing for the next 45 minutes, 50 minutes or so. Okay, so got an interesting picture there of your Yogi Park. And I think what we have to consider before we start thinking about personal statements is about this idea of being different, of being unique. Because when you make an application to a British university, they need to see that you're an individual. They need to see that you're different in some way, and that you're not, in many ways, just a stereotype, okay, of what people consider international students to be. So we look at a very different picture of Japanese society here, and we have a picture of what we'd know as very young recruits, probably to become salary men and women. And I know from the advice that is given out by companies and by organizations that is in many corporations around the world, including Japan, that you shouldn't be unique, that you should be the same, that you should look the same, you should feel the same, you should speak the same. Well, that's okay for most people. But the reason why you're at NIC is because you're different. That's the big reason. That's the big difference. Most people all around the world want to stay in the country that they're born. They don't want to travel. They don't want to take risks. They feel safe to stay at home. But you guys are different. Already you're different because you go to the NIC. And if you join the foundation course, you become even more different because a minority of students go to the UK. Most students go to the US, which is fine. They go to Canada, they go to Australia. But I think it's only about 11% of Japanese students who go and study abroad actually go to the UK. So there's steps of uniqueness, if you like. You become unique if you want to go abroad, but then you become really unique if you want to go to the UK, because you're only part of the 10% that do. So already you're different, and it's really important to be honest here, guys, to be honest with yourselves, because you have to start asking yourselves questions, because today is really the start of your journey to wherever it is that you're going. And you really need to think seriously about what you're doing. I can't tell you why you're going to the UK. I can't tell you what to write. I can't tell you how to think. Those days have gone now. You're independent thinkers. So I wanted to start this presentation really by appealing to you, to say to you, please, really think about this. This is really serious stuff. Remember who you are to start off with. You're individuals. You've got your own motivation, your own loves, your likes, your dislikes, all of those kinds of things. But how will that manifest itself in the future? See, your generation is probably the most important generation for several hundred years, because we are on the edge of collapse. We have a summit in the UK talking about global problems, but it's not old people like me that are going to sort this problem out. It's the younger generation like you. So again, you're going to be unique because you're going to face problems and you're going to find solutions that people like me have never thought of. So I'm being very serious here. I'm being honest. I'm being earnest. And I'm trying to make it really important that you understand how important, how unique, how individual you are. You are not these guys on this picture, okay? You're someone very different. So please remember that. Even if you don't study foundation course, you'll still be unique, you'll still be different, you'll still be doing something very special. Okay, so the personal statement, you have 4,000 characters to shape your future. If you don't think personal statements are important, then maybe you'd have to talk to university admissions teams, because they base their decisions based on personal statements. Personal statements are essential. That's what gives you the opportunity to show that you're different from someone else. Remember, the theme of today is about being different. It's about being unique. So it's really important that the personal statement that you write is exactly what you want to say about yourself, but in a very small space, 4,000 characters. That's maybe about 560, 570 words. Not many words at all to talk about yourself. And yet, many students find this very difficult. So my first tip to you is, think about the person who will be reading it, okay? Look, I'm an examiner, okay? And I read the same thing over and over and over again. And it's boring, it's dull. So it's really important to write something that is different, that is unique, that is individual. So absolutely, at the beginning of your application, you must be different. So think about this poor guy here, or woman, who has to read through them, because they will read through dozens, if not hundreds, of personal statements, and they reject many simply because they're just boring. The other thing I said about 5 minutes ago was, do you really know your story? Do you really know why you're making your application? Remember, 500,000 people apply to British universities each year. I don't think half of them actually know their story. They don't really know why they're going to university. I think it's because they've been advised to go or their parents want them to go. But what's your story? Why do you want to go to the UK? Now, I can't answer that for you. This is something that you have to seriously think about. And this isn't a lesson that I can do. This isn't a lecture that you can do online. This is something really important you must ask yourself. Do you really know why you are making this application? Because there's some of you who may not know. Now, we can help you try to find the reason, but we cannot give you the reason. It's really important for you to ask yourself this question. Now, it's not an exercise for you to do, but if you're taking notes, I would seriously ask yourself, why? Why do I want to go to university? What do I want to study? Why the UK or the US? Now, this is a really important point, and I suspect that in your classes with the teachers at NIC, they often talk about what is proof, what is evidence, what is opinion. Opinions really we're not bothered about here, okay? We might like to read that you like something, that's okay, but you should think about it like a legal statement. In fact, it is a legal statement, because when you sign the form electronically, what you say is, everything that I say is true. Everything that I say could be proven. So imagine if you're in a court and the judge said to you, okay, can you prove that you're good at something? Then you have to show evidence of that. So fact is what we're looking for. We're not interested in opinions. It's not an opinion piece. It's not an essay like that. It's about, what do you do? Why do you do it? And can you prove it? In most cases, universities won't ask. But from time to time, they do like to interview people, and they like to say to you, okay, so you say you're a good footballer. How do we know you're a good footballer? Now, here's another tip for you. Please write this one down. Avoid cliches and motivational quotes, okay? And this is a common one. Think outside the box. What does that really mean? Nothing. So we're not advertisers, okay? We're not trying to get you to buy something, or we're not trying to sell something. Please do not use cliches, okay? Don't call yourself, like a blue sky thinker or anything like that, because none of this makes sense, okay? Cliches are what they mean is that they're tired ideas that no longer really have any meaning. Okay, people use them from over and over again. So no cliches, please. I know people like to say things like, it's in my DNA. No, it isn't. These are things that can be proven or not proven. It's like Coca-Cola, it's the real thing. No, it isn't. There's no proof, there's no evidence of this. Nike, just do it. Do what? Because cliches, statements mean absolutely nothing, okay? We're not interested in them. And believe it or not, there's many students around the world who use these kinds of ideas, but not NIC students, okay? Not NIC students, because we're better than that. This is a really important thing. Use professional and formal language throughout. No exclamation marks, please. You know what an exclamation mark is? It's a bit like a joke. It's like telling a joke. It's like, look what I've done. I'm funny, aren't I? No. So let's be really careful about the language that we use. It has to be no abbreviations, okay? I prefer for you to say I am rather than I'm. And also, this is something we'll look at when you join me for classes, is how do we use a mixture of simple and complex sentences. And I know from your English classes, you will know that there's a varied type of complex sentences as well. Basically, what we're talking about is having sentences that have more than one idea in, okay? Why must we do all of these things? Well, one of the things that you have to show evidence of is that you're a good English user. And a good personal statement is an excellent example of showing that you're a good user of English. Okay, so I've given you some tips. Now I want you to think just for a moment, just for one moment, why do you want to study your chosen course? And I'm asking you to be honest with yourself, okay? And then ask yourself, why the UK? Now, this is something that you don't have to give me feedback on yet. But when I meet you in a few days' time or a few weeks for a Zoom call, I will ask you this question. It'll be the first question I ask. So you really need to think about this over the next few weeks. And I think Yumiko-san has sent a sheet around either by email or maybe print copies up. Over the next few days, please think about this. It's really important because this will help you write a statement. See, there's no tricks. Don't think I've come today with a load of hacks on how to do the best personal statement. You have to really think about this, okay? And it's really important that you do it, okay? And being honest is absolutely essential. I mean, even if the answer is because it sounds good, then fine, we can work with that. But if you try to make up something like, oh, I don't know, but don't try and make anything up, okay? Also ask yourself some questions about the UK as well. Now, I don't know how many of you have visited the UK. I know Yumiko-san has several occasions, but have you been to the UK before? Could you write about the UK? Think about the things that you like about it. I mean, you already know about the UK, surely. You've heard of the Beatles, you've heard of Harry Potter, you've probably heard of Manchester United Football Club, and One Direction, all of those kinds of things. So you've probably heard a lot about the UK. You also know the UK has a queen. You probably know about Brexit. Yeah, there's lots of things to know about the UK. But your personal statement won't be necessarily what you can write about that. It's just that you might like something about the UK. You know, for example, before I visited Japan, I really liked an author, a Japanese author, and I'd read all of his work. So it gave me an insight into Japan, and I thought, actually, this is a country I'd like to visit one day, just to see if it's like this author says it is. It is a bit, but it's also not. So, but that's the reason why we travel and we visit places. But if you have been to the UK, then that would be very important for you to say. And it'd be very important to say what you liked about it. And, you know, I'm not sure if it's the weather or the food, but it could be. But the things I want you to think about with the UK is that it has fantastic popular culture. It has fantastic heritage. And if you wanted to go to the UK just because you wanted to experience this, then that's great. I mean, my daughter studies at Edinburgh now, and I visited Edinburgh last week, and it's brilliant. It's just like, because Scotland's another country, to me, it's like, wow, this is great. And my daughter enjoys visiting like the museums, and because it's different for her, it's new culture. So, you know, that is a good reason to go to another country, just to experience the culture. But what she also likes as well is that she likes the fact there's students from all over the world. In her group, she studies someone from Japan. She has somebody from Korea. She has two people from Hong Kong. She has somebody from Vietnam, somebody from India, 2 people from Holland. You know, it's a great place to go and study as well. And the other important thing is, and you can write this down, guys, this is really important. It's a great place to travel from. I mean, where I live now, I could visit Rome in 2 hours. I could go to Paris in 1 hour. I could go to Amsterdam in 1 hour. I could go to Barcelona in 2 hours. I could go to Madrid in 2 hours. I could even go to Athens in 3 hours. So it's a great place to come and live. It's a great place to have adventures. So you might want to say something about that. So please, if you are genuinely excited about the prospect of experiencing British culture and that way of life and traveling, please write it down, because it's fine. It's absolutely great. And admissions officers want to see that you're thinking about these things, because when you go to study in the UK, you have about 15 hours lectures a week and that's it. Okay, you have a lot of work to do, but what else are you going to do? You're not just going to sit in your room. I'd be really disappointed with you if you were going to go and sit in your room. Might as well stay in Japan, to be honest. I'd expect you to go out and traveling and, you know, enjoying life. So exercise 2. Find 3 reasons why you want to study the degree. Now, I've given you a few words here, like it sounds interesting. I really hope so. I really hope that the degree that you're choosing, you say, oh yes, I'm interested in that. Because if you're not, wow, why would you study it? I mean, that'd be awful. That'd be the worst thing you could ever do. So it's really not about what other people think. This is about what you think. Have you been inspired by somebody? Okay, that could be, and I'll give you an example, right, about not so much of inspiration, but for example, I wrote a book several years ago. Well, I've written a couple of books, okay, but one of the books I authored, it was a sociology book, and what inspired me was I had a fantastic sociology teacher. His name was Adrian Howells. And I said to him, when I was in class, when I was about 19, I said to him, one day I'm going to write about you. I'm going to quote you. And he said, yeah, fine. And then I did. And I mean, he's very ill at the moment, but I saw him a few years ago and he said to me, he said, you did it, didn't you? And I said, yeah, because you were like the best man ever in the whole world. You know, you were the greatest teacher I'd ever listened to. You inspired me. I thought you were brilliant. You gave me ideas. You made me think. And to be honest, I don't even think I'd be here now talking to you. That's the truth. So when I applied for university, I talked about Adrian Howells. I talked about my teacher. I talked about how he brought sociology alive with humor, with fun, with passion. I'd like to think that I've inspired people, but I don't know. But he did. Are you good at it? Are you, for example, do you feel that you've got a good understanding of it? For example, if you want to study international development, do you feel like you've got a really good feel for it? Do you feel like you're really interested in it? Do you feel that you really understand the essence of what? Because as long as you understand some politics and you care about people, international development is a brilliant subject for you. What about your family? Has your family had a really important impact on this decision? I mean, for example, is one of your parents working, for example, in an organization and you'd like to follow that? There's nothing wrong with that, guys. You know, if it's good for your parents. Or could it be that your family had an interest in something? For example, and I use myself again as an example, I used to take my daughter to the cinema from the age of, I think, even 1. I think she was very young. And what does she study now? Film studies. Okay, so, you know, as families, we can affect our children very positively. And what about your career ambitions? We need to hear about this, guys. This is really important. I mean, some of you might go to university because you're not sure. That's fine, but please say so. But if you have a career ambition, again, you probably want to mention something in your personal statement that you want to work, for example, in a non-government organization, or you want to work in the government, or you want to work for an advertising company, or you want to work in the theatre, or even if you want to be self-employed. The one thing I don't want you to do, okay, is say that you want to save the world, okay? It's a beautiful idea, but it won't happen. So please avoid that, okay? I know you do. Look, I'd love to save the world. I really would. But all I can do is probably try to educate people and help them think about things differently. But that's not saving the world. It's just making a little difference. But if you have ambitions, this is a really good time to say so. If you want to set up a company that is ecologically friendly, yeah, go ahead and do it. If you want to become a pet psychologist and you want to look after people and their animals, and you really want to make a difference to how pets are looked after in Japan, fantastic, say it, okay? But don't say you want to change the world. Just a bit of a literary quote here, one of Britain's famous sons, if you like, Rudyard Kipling. This is a quote that I tell students all of the time, and I was given this quote by Adrian Howells, my teacher, wow, a long time ago, 30 years ago. And he said to me, this is how you write an essay. I always remember Rudyard Kipling, and I always think this would be really good to remember. This poem is really good to remember for a personal statement. I keep 6 honest servant men, they taught me all I knew. Their names are what and why and when and how and where and who. These are all the questions we should be asking ourselves, guys. What do I want to do? Why? When am I going to do it? How am I going to do it? Where am I going to do it? And who's going to do it? Really important. So this is like a checklist, and it's a really, really beautiful poem as well, if you ever want to read it more. So I've been talking a lot about you thinking about what's your inspiration and how you're going to write this, and thinking about how you're going to plan this fantastic statement. But I've got some opening lines here for you. And don't worry, I'll send this over to Yumiko-san, and she'll be able to distribute this for you. But look, there's some start and opening lines here. Look, there's one there that right at the start says something very uncertain. I am not sure when my interest in politics started, but I do remember my family being politically active and going on marches and meetings, such as campaigning for better economic rights of migrants. See, look, there's 4 different opening paragraphs there, guys. Are you back again? Is everybody back again? Good. Okay, so there's 4 very different paragraphs here. We can start our personal statements very differently, okay? And it's okay, because this is about being different. So you can see the second one is, I had a wonderful psychology teacher who made learning fun. So that's why they want to study psychology. There can be all sorts of reasons, but you need to find your reason. Really important. I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, but hey, I am a teacher, and one thing we learn, repetition means learning, okay? In fact, there's a rule of 5 we always go by. As a teacher, if you teach something 5 times, you'll remember it for the rest of your life. How about that then? There's also what they say called a tipping point, 10,000 hours, but I'm not too sure about that. Okay. So we've got exercise 3. Again, this will be on a sheet of paper for you to think about. What do you know about your degree? How much do you know about the things you will study? Do you know how you will study it? Now, why would you need to know this? Well, you need to tell the university that you understand what you're applying for. You need to demonstrate that you've done some research. Now, it's very easy to research courses these days. I mean, You've got Yumiko-san there, who's one of the most experienced people of British education in Tokyo. You could ask her. She'll tell you about the university system. She's an expert on the British education system, so she could tell you. That's research, but I'd expect you to go online. Don't expect Yumiko-san to do all your work for you, okay? This is about being independent learners. She could tell you a lot of stuff, but she will also say to you, look, I don't know, you need to look yourself. You know, I'm not an expert in animal psychology, for example. You know, we can't be an expert in everything. So what I say to you is go onto UCAS, have a little search around, and then look at 3 university websites, because their degrees will be very similar. So if you want to study international politics, for example, it will be the same at Winchester as it will be, it will have the same code probably, as it will be at Birmingham and at UEA. And by understanding what the degree program is, first of all, you can make a good decision. You can say, yes, I really want to do this, or, oh, no, I don't like that. You can do those things. But if you read through it and go, actually, this sounds really good, yeah, then start exploring the different modules that they offer, because that's where universities differ. They offer different modules, sometimes in other faculties. I know there's a student who's really interested in business studies and religion, okay? So not a normal combination. But hey, there might be a university out there where you can study the odd module in philosophy and then learn about religion and ethics and then apply that to your business studies. So there's opportunities out there, okay? So it's really important, but different universities offer different things. And I'd expect you to be able to write a summary of what it is that universities teach. For example, what are the modules? And also, are these the kinds of things that you would like to study at university? But there's another question, there's another answer. How does this link with your ambition? What do you want to do later on? Now, I've met a few students online, and we've discussed that maybe after their first degree, they might have to go on and study for a master's or a PhD. I remember when I completed my studies, I went and did a master's degree in research immediately, because I knew I had to do something extra to be better in the job market, to get a better role and be better for my career. So these things that I'm highlighting to you are really important, okay? Lots of questions that you have to ask yourself, but how would you write a personal statement if you're not saying to the university, look, I'm really interested, for example, in sociology, because you'll get to study all the major theories and perspectives, but also you can specialize in things like the family. These are really important things to be able to write, really important. And there's only one person who can do that research. And it's not Yumiko-san, it's you guys. You're the ones that have to do this research. You have to be honest with yourself and say, look, why am I doing this? So here's some examples of showing how you can demonstrate your knowledge. And these are actually from real personal statements from NIC students. So please don't copy them, okay? They're too good to be copied. So I'll read out the second one for you. The study of international development spans across several departments, and I look forward to learning how development can be understood from a range of disciplines such as economics, politics, sociology, and psychology. Wow, that's a fantastic statement, because you're already telling the admissions officer and the head of faculty, I've got an idea of what I want to be doing. I've got an idea of what I want to study. And you know what? If they read something like that, they'll say, make them an offer. And if you think, all because we have partnerships with universities, they just automatically make you an offer, you're wrong. You have to write a good personal statement. The lucky thing is that NIC students always write fantastic personal statements, always. But it's important to do this kind of stuff. And you can see, for example, even for film studies, the young man who wrote this had to talk about the things that he's interested in, but also what he wants to learn. Universities are are places of spectacular expertise. Remember that. So you're going there to learn. Okay, so exercise number 4, and this is all about helping you write a fantastic personal statement. Why do you think you're suitable for the degree course? Because you're going to have to say something about yourself. Do you have any skills, for example, of working with others? Have you had success in other subjects? Have you been part of a committee, student committee? Have you read key textbooks? Now, one of the things I will suggest is that you probably, well, it'll be good for your English development anyway, but maybe find a key textbook in whatever it is that you want to study. So if it is, you know, in every subject, in every walk of life, there's always one key textbook, okay? So if you want to read, I don't know, something like sociology, then find, well, you could find my book, but no, I wouldn't say that. What I would say is that you could read one of the, you know, like Giddens, Anthony Giddens, for example. That would be a brilliant sociology textbook to read. Or if you're reading psychology, you want to read psychology, it might be a good example to read Freud's Introduction to Psychodynamic Theory. You know, it's really important that you can, I think, in a personal statement, say that you have read something about your subject independently. Because when you go to university in the UK, you're an independent learner. And my daughter was really shocked when she said, "Dad, I've got lots of work to do. I have to read loads of stuff." And I went, yeah. Yeah, I did that many years ago. You have to read. That's why you go to British university. You know, other universities around the world, they teach you your degree. In the UK, you read for a degree. Yes, you have lectures, you have seminars, but essentially you must read. You must find the information. You must be able to do independent research. So if already you've read a book on the subject, you've demonstrated already you're a UK type student. Because believe me, I've worked with international students from all over the world, and they've come to the UK, and many of them collapse with the pressure because they go, I didn't know it would be like this. I didn't know, I just thought we had to sit here and just, I don't know, do one exam a year or something. And it's like, no, you actually have to work really hard when you come to the UK, because a UK degree is one of the best degrees in the world. So you have to work really hard for it. So maybe find a key text, a key book. I mean, even if it's in Japanese, it's fine. But I would recommend reading it in English. So showing your suitability. There you go. There's a few paragraphs there. And look, there's a good example. Number 3, the third arrow. Since reading Schumacher's Small is Beautiful, I have read a number of books on the environment, including Klein's No Fences. I have wanted to study in greater detail how we can lessen the human impact on the environment. Okay, so they're saying that they've been inspired by a couple of books, and these books are good books to read if you're interested in environment. Naomi Klein is a good person, but look, there's other things that you could think about. Sorry. You could talk about, you know, if you're interested in international development, if you've done any charity work, okay, that's really important. Even if it's just that you've, you know, done a sponsored swim or something like that, that's fine. It just shows that you're interested in other people and everything else. And remember, on the foundation course, you will study lots of different things because it's like liberal arts. So you will study politics, you'll study sociology, psychology, media, business, economics, international relations. So you could say that the reason why you've chosen foundation course is because you want to go and study these things. So exercise 5, lots of exercises. It's like being at the gym, isn't it? So What skills and attributes do you have? Now, they might be specific to the course. It could be that you have studied that thing before, or it could be, I mean, for example, we've had students who have worked, for example, had work experience in a political organization, and that's why they want to study politics. Do you have any achievements? Everybody's achieved something. Now, you might not think you have, but these achievements can be anything. Have you helped organize an event? That's an achievement. Have you supported people in an organization, in a committee? Achievements come in different shapes and sizes, but you must show that you do other things, that you're able to do other things. Even if it's just supporting people, that's still a skill and it's still an attribute. But if you have achievements that you're proud of, for example, you know, you're really good at the guitar or you play the piano. I mean, sometimes, right, I talk to students and they don't tell me that they play a musical instrument, or they don't tell me that they dance because they don't think it's important. And then I say to them, really? This is incredible. You need to tell everybody about this, because when you write a personal statement, yes, you must be humble, but you cannot be shy, because being shy will not help you. You need to tell the admissions that you are a person who is more than about studying. You've got other things. You know, you can build good friendships. You can look after people. You can have fun. You can dance. You know, you might be. I'm not going to mention more, but I know there's members of staff at NIC that are really good at calligraphy, for example, and they have exhibitions. They don't tell anyone, but if they were making a UCAS application, they would have to write about that. You know, it's really important. Or they've conducted tea ceremonies. I mean, if you do stuff that's involved in Japanese culture, that's really important, because the university wants to know that. Really important. And even if you were 8 years old and you did something, that might be important. So think about those things as well. So here's some examples of how this can be written. Yeah, I won an award for my essay writing. That could be one. Or I work in a convenience store 15 hours a week. Now you might think, oh, that's not very good. Well, it is, because I've been in those convenience stores and those people work very hard, thank you very much. And if you're a student trying to balance 50 hours study a week and you're working 15, 20 hours in a shop, I think you're a hell of a person. I think you're fantastic. So you need to be able to tell people that you can balance those things. Or you might be a grade 8 in piano, or you've been playing since the age of 5, or a black belt in karate, or the chairperson. Or it could be that when you were 10, you rode up Mount Fuji on a unicycle. If you did, wow. We've had people who have had brilliant achievements. We've got one student at Winchester who's a world yo-yo champion. We've got people who are martial arts experts. We've got people who are really good at soccer. We've got people who are really good at cycling. You know, got to tell them. Anyway, it's really interesting as well. So we move then to something connected to that, hobbies and interests. How do you like to relax? What do you do outside of your studies? And I've put there in brackets, believe it or not, this is important. Really important, because it's stressful being a student. And we need to know that you have the ability to relax, to stay calm, and cope with all the pressures. And sport is a good way, but even if it's like going to the cinema, or even if it's cooking, if you love cooking, I find cooking stressful because I want it to taste nice, especially if I'm cooking for other people, it's a nightmare. But you might enjoy cooking, or you might enjoy gardening. You know, it could be anything, but you need to show that you're a fully rounded person. Yes, we want to know you're a good student, but we also want you to know that you're a good human being as well. So there's an exercise 7. Now, I won't this is a task that you can go through yourselves, okay? And it's called a bad personal statement, and there's some boxes in there. Now, I think this is a fun task, okay? But I think it's one that you should go through, because all of these statements that I've put in there, they've been written by students before, okay? So it's not just something I've created. This was made from about 3 personal statements over the years where students have just written the wrong thing. Don't worry, I didn't send those to the universities, but what I did was I kept hold of them and said, right, there'll be really good examples of how not to write them. So I think what I want you to be able to check is, can you check them for grammar? Is it a fact or is it opinion? What kind of feeling do you get? Because feeling is really difficult to quantify. But sometimes you can read something and you think, I don't know, I don't like that. Or yeah, I really like that. That person sounds really interesting. But we all get different feelings, don't we, about things? Words are evocative. Words are powerful. So when you read it, how do you feel? Does it make you feel relaxed? Does it make you feel happy? The other thing is it suitable? You know, are they using the correct language? Are they being polite? Are they respecting the institution that they're applying for? Because I know in Japan you have things like honorific language, and it's really important sometimes when you're speaking to elders or speaking to people in like higher positions in a certain way. But Britain also, English is very formal in many ways as well. And so your personal statement has to be suitable. You have to be writing to the other person and showing lots of respect for the reader. It's very important. So some other tips that you could use about writing. Remember that the UK is one of the oldest education systems in the world. That's a good reason. It's good. Yeah. There's some countries I wouldn't go to because the universities aren't that. But the UK is one really good one. I mean, I've been to 4 different universities in the UK, so that's how good they are. Yeah. The other reason is that students may specialize early. You might want to write that. You can use this. It's not plagiarism if you use this. This is fine. Remember that a lot of people in universities are research experts in their subject area. And also, as I mentioned earlier, the population is very diverse. In other words, when you go there, you have to speak English because there won't be many Japanese students. There's only 10% of you go to the UK of those who go abroad. So even if you get several NIC students going to the same university, you won't be studying the same things. You won't be studying the same course. So when you're in class, you will have, you know, a few people from India, a few from the US, a few from Germany, a few from China, a few from Hong Kong, from Vietnam, from Brazil. You all have to speak one language, okay? And it won't be Japanese, I'm afraid. Hardly anyone in the UK speaks Japanese. It's a shame, really, because it's a beautiful language. What else can you say? Well, you can think about if you want to, for example, apply to UEA, you might just say that you're attracted to campus life, because universities do have campus lives. Campuses are brilliant places. I remember when I was a student, I loved the campus because it was like a village. It was like a student town where everybody is really friendly. So you have your shops there, and you have your sports facilities, and you have your pubs and your bars and your nightclubs as well. Brilliant. Believe it or not, I was young once, and it was good fun. So university campuses are brilliant places, and that one there is a UEA. So it might be that you might want to mention that you look forward to living the student life. On campus is fantastic, guys. You really have to experience, and it's good fun as well, because all you're doing is living with other students in your first year. So you get to know each other really well, you have loads of fun. Also, you have to study hard as well, but an interest in life is a fun life, yeah? You work hard and you play hard, and that's what university campuses do. So you might want to say something like that. This university is very special to me, by the way. This is my old university. I studied here twice. That's the University of Birmingham. And that's where I had lots of great fun and I learned lots of things. What a wonderful university that was. So it could be that, I mean, I went to Birmingham because it was a strong course and I really enjoyed it. And I wanted, again, be on campus. I mean, don't worry, that isn't student halls, by the way. That's the Ellis building. That's the posh part, if you like, of University of Birmingham. But explaining or describing your feelings about living on campus would be very important. And also, if we go back just one, University of East Anglia, that's in the country. Okay, so that might be that you want to do that, or you might want to study in the city. Remember, cities in the UK are not like Tokyo, okay? They're nowhere near as big. Well, London geographically is as big, and its population isn't quite as big, but it's still, you know, very big. But cities like Birmingham, they're not even as big as Osaka, okay? So don't think, you know, when we talk about cities in the UK, we're not thinking like Tokyo or Osaka or places like that. And there's a really cool picture of Winchester. This is a really beautiful place as well to go and study. And you can have, I mean, that's not too close to the sea, but you can live in this, you know, in the country, or you can live, you know, where it's quiet, or you can live in the city, or you can live by the sea. Remember that you might be choosing a university or universities for a lifestyle as well. And if you don't think this is important, lifestyle isn't just a phrase. Lifestyle is everything. It's about who you're going to interact with. It's about where you go to the shops. It's about who you're going to go out with in the evening. It's about the air that you breathe, as well as your studies and things like that. So you might want to say something about the universities that you're applying to. You don't have to. The one thing I don't want you to do is, if you're applying to different universities, do not mention a university, okay? So if you're applying to 5 different universities and you're going, I really want to go to Birmingham, the other 4 universities will say, okay, you're not coming here. So be very general about that. But some people only apply for one university. That's okay if that's what you want to do. But please speak to Yumiko-san first before you do that, and also speak to me first as well. Very important. So what are the things to do? Well, obviously, enrolling on the foundation course will be very important, because that's when everything starts. Obviously, Yumiko-san will deal with that and look after those things. If you have any questions about the course, you can contact me as well about it, but that'll be the first thing. But whoever you are, whatever you go to do, you really need to be thinking about your personal statement now. And I've asked for a first draft to be sent to me by 1st of December. Why have I said 1st of December? Well, you should have been enrolled by then, and that will be 5 weeks' time, okay, on a Wednesday. So you don't necessarily have to send it by then, but I'd like it to see it before then. Now, if you send one to me tomorrow, I will reply. If you send one in 2 weeks' time, I will reply. So you don't have to do it by any day. I'm just very happy to see them. Remember, I want to get to know you, okay? I know that, you know, that we're speaking online all of the time, and I don't like it, okay? I really hate being online. I hate looking at myself on the camera. I hate not being with people. I love going to Japan. I love being at NIC. I love being with the students. But at the moment, we know, and I haven't mentioned it yet, we know why I'm not there. I wish I was with you, and I wish I could sit down with you in person and talk to you, get to know you, understand you, so that I can help you more. But we're going to have to do this by Zoom. And that means that you have to be proactive. In other words, you have to contact me and say, hey, Michael, can I meet you at some day? You have to give me times. You have to tell me when you're free. And I'll be very happy to meet you and talk about whatever you want to talk about in terms of your university course. See, the important thing is, guys, and this is really, really important, is I need to get to know you as well, because I'll be writing your references. So I will enjoy speaking to you and having a conversation with you online. But I need to meet you more than once online. I need to talk to you. I need to get to know you so I can understand you. And the more I understand you, the more I can support and help your personal statement. So if you are joining foundation course, you're going to have to get used to, emailing me, talking to me on Zoom calls, sending me things, and that'll be fine. Okay, I've been very busy over the last few weeks, but now I'm really concentrated on all of this, because this is so important, okay, for all the students. So please contact me with anything that you need. I mean, some students will want to know about different universities and things like that. Thank you. But you will have to, obviously you have counseling sessions with Yumiko-san and maybe other people and talking about your future. But remember, you can talk to me pretty much any time, okay? But remember, there's an 8-hour difference, and that difference I think might become 9 hours after the weekends, because the clocks change as well in the UK. I know you probably don't want to speak to me. I understand I'm old and I'm boring and all of those kinds of things, but I can help you. So, as I said, I'm here to help. What we've done today is that we've looked at just general tips on how to write a personal statement. Now, I've sent material over, which will help you. Please don't copy it, because that would be plagiarism. But what you need to think about is contacting me by email, arranging a Zoom call with me so that we can discuss what you want to do. That is probably the most important thing, apart from enrollment. Now, one of the things that you have to remember is that you will not write this first time. Even the best students who go on to get a first class honours at the UK, they need to write at least 5 or 6 times. So you need to be prepared to do the work. Now, I know you're really busy. I know you have loads of essays to do and you have loads of tasks to do. I understand this. But if you put aside 30 minutes a day for me and just think about what you're writing and then send it to me, then I can give you quick feedback. Because you can just start with little bits, just little chunks. And then I can give you advice, I can give you help, make suggestions, and then we can get closer. Because the deadline for UCAS is January the 15th, 2022. It sounds like it's far away, but it isn't. And we will be rushing towards the end. So the earlier you start, not just the Zoom calls, but the personal statement, the easier it will to make your application, the easier it is for me to write my reference, and the sooner you can get offers. And that's really important. It's a lot of work. So we've come to the end of the presentation. I will share the presentation with Yumiko-san. I hope it's been useful for you. I hope it's been reasonably entertaining. I hope you've learned, even if you've just learned one thing, that's fine. But it's really important to listen to the advice. I've been helping students apply for university probably longer than you've been living, okay? Over 20 years, I've been looking after students at university applications. That's what I'm here for. That's my job, to make sure that you write the best personal statement, that you write it, and that you get the best university offer you can. So these are really important. How long will it take you to write a good personal statement? I think probably between 10 and 15 hours.
Thank you.
But you will also have to listen to a lot of advice. So all I want to say to you is thank you very much for joining me. I really wish I was there. I miss traveling to Japan, but we know why. I think we will meet in person soon. And hopefully I can stand in a class with you or meet you at a desk, and we can talk about your future, and we can talk about your course, and I can help you with your studies. I really hope that happens. I think it will. So until then, thank you very much. I'm sure I'll stay online if you've got any questions. Yeah, so thank you very much for your time. Really nice meeting you. I do try and skip through the just to see some faces. There's some of you who've obviously got masks on, so I might not be able to recognize you if you didn't have a mask on, but I hope to see some of you again soon. I hope you'll be joining me for the classes. And look, guys, look after yourself. Remember, it's easier to love than it is to hate. And taking care of each other means that the world gets better anyway, doesn't it? So thank you very much for your time. I'll stay online and look after yourselves. Goodbye.
Thank you very much. 皆さんはね、今の内容をもとに、これからパーソナルステートメントを書いていきます。で、NIC でファンデーションやる皆さん方は、さっきも話したようにね、何度もマイケル先生とやり取りする。で、NIC のファンデーションって今5年目なんだけども、5個の学生さん、5期の学生さん進学してます。1年目からバーミンガム大学入った実績がないと。理由としては、一番はこのパーソナルステートメントによると私は思っています。パーソナルステートメントのマイケル先生のレビューがね、とてもいい。プラス、マイケル先生のリファレンスがね、もうパーフェクトだという。それが他のどこにも負けないいいところだと思ってますので、しっかりね、マイケル先生と交流してもらって、自分自身をしっかり知ってもらった上で、いいパーソナルステートメントを書いてほしいと思います。よろしいでしょうか。はい。ここにあるようにね、E メールで、添付ファイルという形でワードに入れてください。そうするとね、直したポイントだとか、マイケルのコメントが閲覧できるようになって、それで送られてくるようになります。大丈夫かな？ OK。で、何か質問がある方は、このまま残ってマイケル先生に聞いていただいてもいいですし、皆さんは11月の12日までにね、進路決定のカウンセリングをしなくてはなりません。決まっている人はもとより、カウンセリングにシートを渡している人は構いません。進路決定届をもらっているよって人が結構ですが、それ以外の方は、なるべく早くにお話しして、どこの大学に進学するのか、あるいはどこでファンデーションをするのか、そういったことを決めていきましょう。よろしいでしょうか。はい、ありがとうございます。Thank you, Michael. ありがとうございます。
Thank you.
Most welcome.